Hello. Happy Monday, everybody. Let's make sure that everything's working. As always, make sure that the stream is actually streaming. It looks like we're good to go. Let's double check. Awesome. There we are. Excellent. So happy Monday. Welcome officially to this week's live Monday Music Motivation. Today we are going to be tackling something that's particularly pertinent in my life, and I think maybe for other people as we're sort of into the summer season. So for me in the summer, I play with a local municipal band, and the way that works is we do a concert every single week. I'm not signed up for every single concert, but we do pretty much a concert a week, and the thing with that is it's just one rehearsal and then the concert. So we rehearse on Thursday night, we play a concert on Sunday. The next Thursday we're rehearsing a whole new set of music and then play a whole new concert on Sunday. And a lot of summer groups kind of work that way and have less rehearsal, where during sort of the regular like fall to spring season, we'll be like really digging into stuff and spending a little bit more time with it. But there's a lot of summer bands out there that kind of do the one concert a week routine. So I wanted to unpack a little bit about how do you actually go about learning a whole new concert every single week? Because really it's not totally practical to be able to really thoroughly practice the entire concert the way that you might when you have a 6-week or 8-week concert cycle to really learn the stuff. So what you need to do is prioritize a little bit. Because with all concerts, there's going to be some stuff that you can pretty much sight read through. There's going to be some stuff that at first falls apart, but with just a little bit of practice and a little bit of figuring out, you get it. And then there's going to be some stuff that really takes some work and that you actually have to really spend some time, dig into it, do your good slow practice and all of that good stuff to really get the hang of it and be able to play it comfortably and confidently for the performance. So when it comes to preparing a concert in 1 week, it's all about organizing well, prioritizing well so that you aren't wasting the limited practice time on the stuff that you can just sight read or the stuff that's really easy, and you can dedicate your time to the stuff that really is going to need some work to sort of get under your fingers. But how do you do this? Do you just sort of look through the music and guesstimate like, oh yeah, that part's probably going to be tricky, so I'll work on that? That can be an okay starting place, but there's a much better way. And this is what I think should be the step one of concert prep for any concert, whether you're preparing a concert in a week, whether you're playing with the New York Philharmonic, or you're playing with some small random group in the middle of nowhere or whatever it may be. No matter what sort of level you're at, no matter how long you have to prepare, the first step in concert preparation should always be to listen to the music. Because when you listen to it, you get such a better picture of how it actually goes. And if you aren't listening to recordings of the pieces you're going to be playing, then you don't really know how the music goes. Because remember, music is what we hear, not what we see on the page, even though we call sheet music the music and we look at the music that way. And yes, we do want to develop the skills to be able to visually look at the music and sort of hear that in our head and audiate it and know how it goes. But if we aren't listening to the music, then we don't really know how it goes. There's so many important things like tempo, what's happening in the ensemble, and all of those kinds of things that when you actually listen to a recording, fills in so much more detail than you can get even through pretty diligent score study. So that's the first step to be doing. Now, what should you actually be listening for as you're doing that? First, and especially for, this is exactly how I do it for these sort of 1 week preparation things. First, I'm listening and I'm following along with the music, and I'm looking for any parts where I get lost or I don't feel comfortable and in control. As long as I'm able to listen to the recording and follow along and be like, yep, I know what those notes are, I know how the rhythms are fitting in, everything's making sense, then I can probably sight read that part in the rehearsal and be good to go, and then I'll have having listened to it, had the rehearsal on it, and it should be no problem for the concert. So what I'm doing when I'm listening is I'm looking out for, number one, the parts that are exposed. That's the most important thing, because you don't want to have a surprise solo in the first rehearsal where you're like, oh, I didn't realize I was the only one playing this. Because when you get that surprise of, oh, I'm the only one playing this, that can make something that's really easy and you didn't even think would be a problem at all, and it'll suddenly fall apart because you're just caught off guard by that. So first, looking for things that are exposed, looking for where you or your section have the important melody, and knowing how those parts go, because if the melody falls apart, then everything's going to fall apart. So the exposed parts are top priority, making sure that those are confident, comfortable, and you know they're coming. Second thing that's super important are the hard parts. So as I'm following along, listening to the recordings, I'll make a note of anything that kind of fell apart for me, anything that didn't feel really comfortable and confident and in control. And then I'll practice those separately and sort of prioritize those in my practice. So when it comes to preparing a concert in a week, you can't play through everything multiple times like you normally would when preparing for a concert. You have to just isolate, hone in on the tricky stuff, and really dig into those. Which again, I think is very similar to normal concert prep, where in my practice, even if I have 6 weeks of rehearsals to prepare and work on something, in my personal practice, I'm mostly focused on the tricky bits and the things that are really challenging. The stuff that I can sight read will get taken care of in rehearsals. I do know how it goes. I'm not going in blind, but I know how it goes by listening to it, and can be really effective and productive in those rehearsals. So that's kind of my motivation for you. If you aren't listening to the stuff a lot and listening and following along with your music, then you aren't really preparing for your concerts and learning as best as you could be. And that brings us to the most important part of every Live Monday Music Motivation, where we fill out our practice template. So that's mine for the week. This is sort of with my personal project. I have my band practice is kind of separate from my planning here, so I'll listen through that and schedule time to really practice that as well. But for my personal project, this is kind of how it's going. And for you, you can use your template however you want. All that matters is that you're getting that reflection in and figuring out how things are going. You have a concrete, tangible goal that you're aiming for the week. And then most importantly, you have that plan. And even more importantly than having the plan is you take that plan and you put it in your calendar, put it in your planner, set the reminders, and schedule it so that you actually do the practicing. So fill out your template. You can go to quickstartclarinet.com/get-started to get that exact one, or you can recreate it for yourself in your regular practice journal or whatever it is. Just make sure you have that reflection, the goal, hopefully based off of your reflection, and then the plan for when you're going to practice, and you have that scheduled and ready to go. So I hope that you all have an amazing week of practicing. Do lots of listening as you're preparing for whatever you're preparing for, and get that scheduled, and have a great week. So thanks for watching this week's Live Monday Music Motivation. I will see you next week for the next Live Monday Music Motivation. Have a fantastic week. Happy practicing. See you next time.